I want people to know that when I choose to cover this way, it's because I am fighting against a systematic oppression against women in which women's bodies are being sexualized and objectified. This is a different perspective and a different form of empowerment in which I think when I'm in public, my sexuality is in my control, and people have to deal with my brain and who I really am and not judge me by my body. And if we want to really talk about the oppressive situation of women, let's talk about all of the eating disorders, all of the plastic surgery, all of the unhealthy diets that are being done, all in the name of having the perfect body. To me, this is liberating and this is empowering, and are voluntarily choosing to do it. This is my choice. Nobody can force me to take it off. I would not take it off even if you paid me to do it.
I cover my face out of my own choice. I choose to cover it, and partly because I'm a Muslim, and being a Muslim, our Creator in the Quran does say to cover yourselves in a modest way, and I feel, I believe, covering your face is part of dressing modestly to avoid attraction when you go out.
So, the danger is I might be attracted to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. The reason I wear, there are so many scholars who do feel that the hands and the face do not need to be covered, but there are also scholars who say that yes, that it should be covered. And I feel it should be covered because the most attractive part of anybody is the face.
So is there a danger that males in the audience are attracted to every female in this studio's face who's here? Are they putting themselves in some kind of a...
Not necessarily every female face, but yeah, it could stir some sort of...
Passions?
Yes.
Why would it not stir passions in a woman to see a man's face?
It's a good point, but I wouldn't question that. If this is how I understand that the scholars have said, then I would do it.
And it's God's will?
It's God's will.
Isn't it clear I don't give a do it again. That's your boy.
Greetings. I'm Hatshepsut, and I'm very proud to announce Boss is back with another one.
Alright, so recently I have been doing a lot of the smoke screen shit, but to be honest with you, I don't claim VR. This is PNG right now, so I don't know what the fuck VR be on, bro. Don't blame me, man. Like, VR is just VR, bro. You know what I mean? You gotta tap in with VR to really know. Like, you gotta look at the whole shit, but everything on the channel, you know what I mean? But recently posted a video that I saw on TikTok called, or it wasn't called anything, but I just started stumbling across these videos of like these Islamic Muslim women making videos. And I think this is like a past thing where it's, there was like a ban on the burka thing, which is basically a covering for women's faces because they like cover their hair and stuff when they're like Muslim and stuff like that. If you know anything about that, but I posted a video of this woman wearing a burka which covers her whole face, and I guess like the other thing that covers their hair is called something different. So burka's like another level of that shit pretty much. But I just thought that shit was crazy too, because it just shows like there's so many different perspectives in the world and shit. The main thing I really feel like I took from that video was like there's so many different perspectives in the world and shit. And especially like, you know, like Western perspective versus like the other side. It's like kind of split in half almost, like there's like a Western culture and the other culture. You know what I mean?
About like if there was a problem people have.
Right.
I just want to tell you, like, get that out the way. I would never trip about that. My mama got a, and so I kind of was bored.
Should we busting it down?
Huh?
Wait. Should we busting it down?
Well, I ain't subscribed to nothing, so I don't know. But like, I was born into that kind of lifestyle. You know what I mean? So
I see,
kind of am familiar.
What does that mean? You were born into that lifestyle?
Well, I just know. You know what I'm saying? I just know a little bit about it. You know what I mean? So I just,
what do you know about it since you grew up with your mom having an?
She just, bills are paid, and everything. I don't know. I don't think she's doing crazy stuff. But I just know like bills were paid and everything was good.
I respect it.
Yeah, so I just kind of respect her, and I respect women for just having it because it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
would you do it like with me if we were like in a relationship?
Nah.
Okay, why not?
That's what you want?
I mean, no, I'm just asking, like, I'm curious how open-minded you are.
No, I believe like it's nothing wrong with a girl having an OF. I don't think that's an issue, but
do you like set, like, is there like a boundary? You're like, whoa, if you go here, like, it's a little too far.
I mean, if you was my
Because
girl,
you just described it, and you're like, you know, like I feel like every girl should have it because they're just posting Instagram pictures. Like,
what you be doing on there?
hold on, I'm not gonna leak. You gotta go find out. People gotta find out. You don't just like.
I got the
Well, I'm
mega.
saying, like-
I know it. No, I'm just kidding. That was really weird. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. You got. I'm not gonna interrupt. Go ahead. Yeah, that was really weird.
You be
that was
like
really
you be like on it.
I mean, no, yeah, like myself.
And I just think sometimes if you're on one side of it or the other, you might feel like you're like kind of stuck in a perspective of, you know, where you're from or where you live, which makes sense because that's what you're around every day and that's what you see and that's what you like just know, which makes sense. You know what I mean? But the internet and TikTok gave us this great ability to be able to see other perspectives and to see like how other parts of the world operate and shit. And that's probably why they want to take it away, honestly. And then, you know, like with all the stuff that they sell, how much it cost here versus you look at TikTok and see how much shit costs in China and like just everything like that. Like you go on these Chinese websites and like what they sell be like the same shit, but a way cheaper price, shit like that. Pretty much kind of like mixing through the internet and you just start seeing these like different ass perspectives of like how people are living, I guess. And I feel like that is a big part of a lot of stuff I've been posting, like just different perspectives and shit. Oh, and also made a North Korea video as well, which was like a perspective of that too, like kind of just showing, and I made a video about that too, but just showing like a perspective of North Korea and it's like how it's just completely different from like what we're used to or what we even think is possible, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just like this Muslim thing, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but in the video they were just saying like how she believes that's like her choice to like cover her face because in their religious texts it's saying a woman should cover modestly, and obviously in this part of the world that's not really a thing, you know what I mean? I mean most people, I mean not everybody, but like a lot of people would not agree with that, and like definitely like feminism and like the trends of today is definitely pushing the complete opposite agenda. And I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong, but I mean it's really just to each their own, I guess. But like hypothetically, if you did have a wife and like a lot of guys would probably be like, you're insecure if you don't want your girl to go out in nothing or wearing whatever she wants, or even trying to tell her what to wear is weird. But then you have this video of a Muslim woman talking about she don't even want to show her face. So it is like, you know what I mean? Like low key, like dang, like keep your perspective, keep your opinion low key, because it's like somewhere in another part of the world that shit could be like accurate, or shit could be like, you know, not really like what the fuck is not weird, you know what I mean? And sometimes when you're in a certain part of the world, it could make you feel like, damn, like I'm tripping or I'm insecure or whatever. But then you see a video of a Muslim woman saying that and it's like, oh, maybe I'm not tripping, because you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, I know people probably hear this and be like, oh damn, you want your woman to be like doing all that, but no, not really. I think it's just like an extreme example of like showing that like if you did want your woman to be like dressed a little modestly when she's out in public, and not saying like this video just shows like, oh, there's some women that think even way past that of what you probably just want, oh, her to just do this, and she probably like, oh hell no, you can't tell me what to wear, da, da, da. But then there's another woman that's like, oh, I'll cover my face, you know what I mean? So that's just kind of crazy. And another thing is like OnlyFans, for great example, that's normalized. Like, oh, like you let her make her money, like she's, you know what I mean, that's cool, you know what I mean? And a lot of people that don't agree probably just don't say anything, but like OnlyFans shit like that, like that's become like a huge trend and shit, and like just being like, you know, like sex sells and I gotta make my money as a woman, this and that. And it's like, I guess we get it and all that. And I feel like most of the time when I'm looking at YouTube and when I'm looking at Western perspectives, like most people like agree with that shit. They're like, yeah, like pop your shit. But then you see a woman like this that's like, I'm not even gonna show you my face. Like that's crazy, you know what I mean? Like it's just like completely two polar opposites, low key. Like you got one that'll go out and literally nothing, and you got one that won't even show her face. So it's like should you be influenced by where you're at, or should you just want what you want, you know what I mean, low key? You know what I mean? I'm not saying I want all of that, but I just think it just goes to show that like you shouldn't let, you know, your setting influence you too much, and it kind of shows like how your setting in the culture does have a big impact. So like a lot of women that probably do get on OnlyFans or do certain shit are kind of mirroring what's around them, you know what I mean? Versus if they grew up next to someone like this, they'll probably be like, I'm not showing my face, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of crazy to think about like that, like, you know, and then just start thinking even deeper and start thinking like, well, if it's like that, you know, and a lot of videos we made on this channel recently and just in general has been about bad propaganda, and we just know like in hip-hop and in the black community and stuff, no offense to anybody, but they be promoting a bad message and a bad agenda, and they kind of put certain things over others. And I made the example of like there's 5 MLKs versus 5 rappers and this is what we should do, and that'll probably make a difference. And it obviously would, because that's what they're promoting, that's what they're pushing. So if like one thing is cool versus the other, then most people are gonna go with what's cool or go with what's normal, because they don't want to, you know, be too weird or too different. But I'm not gonna lie, one time I was out like in the city, bro, I seen somebody like wearing nothing. Like, bro, we're in the middle, I was in an intersection, bro. Like, nigga, I probably could look over to my left and see a family of 5, bro. Like, it was just like people walking around just in the middle of like, you know, there's a Publix right here, nigga. And I'm telling you, bro, shorty had nothing on, bro. Like, her complete shit was just gone. Like, I'm not gonna lie, just like in the intersection, bro. And it's just like, bro, I could just look over at her and feel like I'm watching something like I shouldn't be watching. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, and it's just like, get used to it, nigga, or some shit. But it's like, I mean, I don't know, bro. This shit is crazy, bro. I just think it's crazy, like, how much of a polar opposite this is, like, you know what I mean? And then I know that's like based on religion and shit, but like, what's the other shit based on? Like, is that based on religion, or is it just based on like the culture? You know what I mean? And I get it, kinda, and I get it. Let people live, let people have their perspectives, let people be free, and like, this is kind of empowering. But man, fuck it, bro. In my opinion, obviously, I probably agree with one over the other. But obviously, the burka thing is kind of extreme, and a lot of people probably be like, you look silly, you look kind of like you're gonna whatever, and all this and that. But like, if you think about it, bro, like people be having conspiracy theories about that 9/11 shit and everything. Like, that's propaganda too, bro. Like, I'm not saying 9/11 is propaganda, but I'm just saying like all that type of shit where they be trying to like make it like there was like a Muslim ban like at the airport, and like no Muslims can come in. Like, that's fucking propaganda, bro. That's like, they want you to look at certain shit in a certain way because they don't want you to be that. They don't want you to do that. They want you to do what they're promoting, which is, you know, violent hip hop and all this shit, bro. Like, they want you to follow their agenda, not theirs. So they're obviously going to make this type of shit look weird because they're like, well, we don't want you to follow that. So we're gonna say they're bad people that's killing everybody, and then we're gonna promote this and on the radio, basically. But extreme example, to each their own. I don't think there would really be a problem with a guy wanting his woman to do either. Obviously, it's like your opinion, but I just think like usually if you were somebody that's not Muslim or something and you were like, I want my woman to do this burqa shit, they'll be like, you're a fucking misogynist, you're a fucking weirdo. But then there's a woman that's literally saying she don't even, you know what I mean? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? This shit crazy. It's like, oh, it's just the religion. You know what I mean? I don't know, bro. I don't know. But if you just take religion out of it completely, like, what if you just thought for yourself and was like, I want to do this? Like, low key, like, if you saw somebody doing this here, like, most people would probably be like, hell no, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it shouldn't be like that, bro. Like, niggas should just do what they really, truly want to do on the inside, like, low key. And I'm just speaking for myself. I don't think it should be that extreme, but like, if I did want it to be that extreme, why not? You know what I mean? So it's not even like an insecure thing though, bro. Cause even when I freaking go out, bro, everywhere I go, like not saying I'm a main character or nothing. Like, other people probably do this all the time, or people just want to see if they know you or if you're familiar. But people love to look, bro. People love to fucking look at people. You know what I'm saying? So it low key, like, you know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, like, I don't know, bro. It just sounds like automatically in the Western culture perspective of things, like, damn, you're so insecure, you're so controlling or whatever. But like, that lady doesn't think that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I guess you just will have to be with somebody who sees your perspective pretty much. But I mean, I just think like just the comparison of, oh, I want you to go out a little modest and don't too much, a lot of people, you know, could agree with, you know what I mean? But then there's people that's like, if you're insecure or you're whatever, you're controlling whatever. But it's just like, that's not true. Y'all just don't even be realizing that, like, y'all don't really be thinking for yourselves. Y'all be so stuck in high school mindset that, like, high school's over, nigga. Like, you can goddamn think how you want to think, move how you want to move, but people still be so like attached to culture and shit. And culture is just so important. And that's why I've been saying, like, in so many videos about music and shit. And like, it's just like a lot of shit, like drinking and smoking and shit like that. Like, people just think like, oh, that's the culture, like that's cool, or you're lame, you're square. The whole time though, like, they promote this shit, but like on the grand scheme of things, it's not that healthy, you know what I mean? So if the trend is to let's wear nothing and let's be on OnlyFans, it's like, yeah, we can handle it, I know I am, whatever, but in reality, it's like, that's just a part of the culture, and that's like not really, I'm not saying everybody does that, but like the people who do probably are just a part of the culture versus really thinking for themselves, you know what I'm saying? And when you have like everybody on the internet saying this is cool, it's like they want to do what's cool, they want to fit in, you know what I mean? And they're making money doing it too. And another thing in that one of those videos they said is like, I don't care how much money you pay me, I won't take it off. Like, that's some shit you just don't fucking hear. Like, over here, that's weird, you know what I mean? Like, over here, they're like, man, what? Give me $1 million, nigga, what? Like, what? You know what I mean? Literally, bro. Like, this shit is fucking crazy, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So I like looking at other perspectives. I like seeing women say, like, you know, I'm standing on my P's and Q's in my culture and shit, and saying like, oh, like, no matter how much money you give me, I'm not taking this off, like, you know what I mean, and not being influenced, you know what I mean? But that is just a side of things. But I just feel like over here, I don't even think you should have to be Muslim to think like this. I think people just need to start thinking for themselves more and think like, well, you know, and there's a lot of people in America that probably do agree that like their women should dress modestly and shouldn't like freaking, you know, wear nothing crazy. But then there's a lot of people that's like, no, you're not telling me what to wear, I'm gonna go out like this. So, you know, I guess it is just to each their own, but I just think it's really cool to see different perspectives. This is my overall opinion on this. You guys let me know your opinions if you want. Oh yeah, almost forgot. There was a comment. I got a comment, and I like responding to comments, and it says, men and women are clearly different, and the way men looks at women versus how women look at men is different. The possibility exists, but at a far lesser rate than how men look at women. And like she said, the face covering is optional. And this got 5 likes. What the fuck? And I bet it was a bunch of American like, hey, yeah, I don't like this comment. But like, bro, no one's saying like one is right or wrong. No one's saying you should do this or you should do that. But I'm just saying, bro, y'all know it's a culture thing, bro. Like, it's definitely a culture thing. I'm not, like, the face thing is kind of extreme. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying like, you know, like you should cover your face. And like, a lot of women probably see that as like, you're being misogynistic. You're trying to control women or whatever. But like, it's not even about that, bro. It's just about having your own perspective. You know what I mean? I think that's just the main point. And it just seems like this comment was kind of saying like, yeah, somebody's saying that, but like over here, that's not really how things are and shit. But that's the thing, things are a certain way over here, you know what I mean? And I think people should just start being more open-minded and not just going with the flock with everything, like, oh, OnlyFans is cool, or, you know, I got my titties out in the middle of an intersection is cool. Like, I don't know. Like, there's clearly people that would be like, oh, that's obviously not cool. But then there's a lot of people, especially on the internet culture, will be like, yeah, like, that's cool. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it's so weird how much the culture can be controlled and be persuaded. And I feel like people just don't even realize that. And that's what I'm saying, like, with music and like certain things, like, people think like deep down, like, I'm such a good person and I'm such a controlled person. I could smoke, I could do this, I could do that. But it's like, yeah, but you still have to realize that like a lot of shit is still like just for example, so I make this example a lot, songs that be rapping about black people killing each other is cool, and like, you know, people like, yeah, this is just like, yeah, like, nobody wanna listen to no square shit, like da. But like, you don't realize that you're literally just like fueling, you're just constantly reminding yourself, like, it's just, I know it probably sounds crazy, but you're just constantly like fueling your brain with like, just, even if you don't act on it and you don't like let it affect you, it's just like, it still will kind of affect you if you're just constantly listening to it. Just like if somebody who's really religious is constantly listening to gospel, it's like, it's going to affect them over time, you know what I mean? So it's just like, people don't even realize how much of an effect certain shit that's being pushed have on them. Like the biggest songs and shit like that that's constantly on the radio or constantly coming out with hella numbers, and there was a Team Paying video that's like, all this shit could be bought, and there's people literally signing off on certain songs being promote it more than others and shit. And these are like turned to like earworms of like repeating in your head. You don't even realize how much control that has over your perspective and over your mind. And just a video like this just shows that, like, yeah, it just shows that there's a lot of influence that you probably don't even realize is being influenced. And you just like go with the flow and you just like be, you know, just vibing, or this is cool, this is fun, or I could do this, like that's cool. Like I don't want to be no fucking, you know what I mean? I get it. But like, I just think people should have their own perspective, and they should also realize the influence. And as long as they realize that, then it's cool. Like they can pick and choose whatever they want to do. People gonna do what they want to do regardless. But I just think there's definitely a lot of people, especially probably younger people, that don't even realize they're being influenced. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm out.
My favorite expression in English is the one that says, never bite the hand of the one that fingers you, something like that.